If there's one thing in the bush that is quintessential, it is a fire out in the bush at sunset with the sounds of the day dying down and the sounds of the night coming up. Good evening, welcome to Fireside Chat. My name is Marc, and tonight it's a little bit, as you can see, mostly because I'm wearing shoes, but it is a little bit of an auspicious occasion tonight. And I'm on my own for a reason, because I have something to relate to all of you out there. But before I do that, I want to take you back 6.5 years actually. I want to take you back to 2008, when we were still broadcasting in SD. It was a long step. When we were there, it was a long leap from where we had first started, when there were 30-second clips driving around quarantine. So I came into Wild Earth in 2008, and I'd like you to see Pete Bright was introducing me in December of 2008 as a guest presenter, almost like James is today and yesterday. And I want to lead into that clip so that I can just put the picture there and set the tone for what's ahead this evening.
Hello everyone. Very privileged actually to be able to introduce Marc to you. He's a very experienced person, and he's coming here to check out the presenting, see what Wild Earth is all about, and whether there's a fit between him and Wild Earth. And for today he's going to do the last half hour he's going to be presenting, just also to get a feel for how that works and things like that. He's, as I said, he's a very experienced guide with lots of knowledge, so I'm sure he'll be able to tell you lots of interesting things. And before I talk too long, because it's not about me now, it's about Marc, so just want to say welcome Marc. I hope you're going to enjoy a couple of days here, and that definitely we're going to see a lot of you here in the future. So I'm just going to jump behind the camera, and
thanks.
It's up to you now.
Hello everybody, my name is Marc. I'm very, very excited to be here. It's been a little while since I've been in this RV stand, and I hope that I can keep up with the good work that's been happening up till now, and let's go and see what we can find.
I think I still say let's go see what we can find, or find what we can see. But it's testament to how far we have come actually from the days of that old SD, which was standard definition footage, when we were broadcasting out with what we had and with what we could do with the broadband at the time. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to put that across to you is because over the last 6.5 years I've been Wild Earth has been part of my life. I could sit here the whole night and tell you my history leading up to coming to Wild Earth, but Wild Earth actually became almost a savior for me. It was a life-saving thing at a time when I needed something like Wild Earth to almost push me forward into a new era in my own personal life. And well, tonight I've got some pretty bad news for you, because tonight is a night that I've got to tell you that I have resigned from Wild Earth and I will be leaving. And it is a sad day for all of us. But it's not that sad. It's not that disastrous, because while I am leaving what we have right now, as a guest presenter and come and see you and see all of you and interact with all of you in the near future. But I think from a personal point of view, I don't want to get into the whys and wherefores right now, but just the fact is that I need to move on with my life, and at this stage of the game, I'm really, really proud of where Wild Earth has become, or where and what Wild Earth has become, and especially the guides and the presenters that they have right now. I mean, Scott and Brent, and now James that is joining the team. I hope he's going to be joining the team. Really great guys, and they're really knowledgeable guys, and they're going to be taking things forward into almost a new era of Wild Earth as technology has developed and as things have changed over time. But from a personal point of view, I've come a long way from those days. I think I've become a little bit more grey around the face from those days. I had a look at that clip today, and I saw how black it was. and I don't even think there was an inch of grey in it at that time. And it's not through Wild Earth that the grey has come about. It's just an age thing. I think I still had a 4 in front of my years then, and now I've got a 5 in front of them. So I have spanned a good 6.5 years here at Wild Earth, and I need to be able to go and do some other things with my life right now. In resigning and in this process, saying goodbye to everybody, we've chosen a few clips, and they are most recent clips, and we don't have really that much from the past. I know there's a lot that has been out there, and from the Wild Earth days of here at Djuma from 2008 and 9, going into when we turned to 3D in 2010, and then HD when HD came about, and how the images improved, and how our whole broadcasting experience improved, and how your experience as the viewers improved, and the interaction that we've had over the years, how that has changed has certainly brought us to where we are today. And I think in leaps and bounds as technology changes, I can only imagine where things are going to go from here. But there are a few clips that we can look at that sort of highlight some of the things from my past. One of the things, and I was asked many times on drive, and I think a lot of the viewers have picked up on it, is that one of the things about my life is that I live for nature. I live for everything. I live to be in nature. I have been through a lot in my life. On a couple occasions in my past, I've been told by the medical profession that I'll never live in the bush again, and I'll never be able to do what I love to do. And on a couple of occasions, I've actually overcome that. The last, going through a kidney transplant, and I'm hoping that through my experience and through reaching out to a lot of our viewers who have been in the same boat, helping them go through those processes, that where I have the heights that I have reached after such traumatic surgery and such a traumatic life change, that I've managed to make a positive out of it. And I hope that some of that has rubbed off on some of the viewers. But I know that to a large extent, a lot of you out there, a lot of the viewers that have been with us a long time, have picked up on the fact that elephant are probably one of my most favorite things. Not because they're the biggest animals, not because, I think it's mostly because their society is such a passive society. I think it's because the matriarchal society that they have is so close to our, we can relate so much to that maternal bond, because I love my mom so much. Not to say that I don't love my dad, because he's my hero. He's everything that has instilled goodness and truth and honesty in my life. But elephants for me embody nature. They're everything about them, their place in nature. They seem to be the kings and the ships and the custodians of this, shape the environment. They're the ones that farm the trees. They're the ones that make sure that there's enough for everybody to eat, because they're not so selfish that they're going to do things that, I guess, in some ways a little bit different to us as humans. So somehow elephants have been very, very important in my life. And there is a little bit of a clip. It's a clip that I've got to show you now. That is a clip from just the other day when we were with a herd of elephants at the little waterhole in front of Gallagher Camp. And I know that there have been a lot of incidents and a lot of time, even with Leshen, for that matter, that wonderful moment when the two of us were splashed with mud at Giraffe Dip on Central's cut line.
Just see the railing of before VM zoomed in.
There have been many,
but we're here for elephants, not
and I do hope to do that again in the future. But I'm showing you sort of highlights one of the most amazing things I could ever do in this world. I don't need movies, I don't need malls, I don't need riches. My riches are spending an afternoon, and especially a sunset, with a herd of elephant. And I'm very lucky, I'm actually privileged and gifted to be able to do that. When I leave here, I go home to the Timbavati, and I get to do that at home in the Timbavati whenever I want to, if I'm lucky enough to find some ellies. But elephant are very, very special to me, and I think that maybe somewhere in my near future is something that I need to do to help fight against the destruction of the elephant population here in Africa. As much as I want to help the rhino, and I know how much the rhino is important. There seems to be this message that elephants have been sending me over the years, that my purpose on this planet is for them and to be a spokesperson for them. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know how that I'm going to achieve that. But that is somehow, it's like the universe shows you things, and that somehow seems to be my direction. I'm very passionate about rhino. I'm very passionate about nature, and everything in nature, as you've probably seen over the years, is that there's nothing that I hold above anything else. I will give an ant as much respect as I do an elephant. But I think I must have been an elephant at some point in time, because I have such a very, very strong bond with them, and if I can spend time with them, I'm made for a day or two. I don't need any other stimulus in life other than spending time with elephants. Now, the other thing about Djuma that we all share, and while we might get lion coming in on occasion, and the very, very rare occasion that we might get cheetah, there's one thing that Djuma and this part of the Sabi Sand is certainly renowned for, and that is the leopard sightings. And over the years, there have been some very, very special leopards in my life. I mean, Karula, one cannot doubt how Karula is so dominant as the queen of Djuma, as the heartthrob of all of us that have been part of Wild Earth and part of the live drives that we've been doing, because she is so consistent in our lives, and all her cubs that have grown. I arrived here when Mishun and Duna had just been born. I met who is now Shadow and Tundi. We called them Saseka and Tingana at the time, but I met them very briefly. I think, actually, funny enough, one of the very first leopards that I saw at Twin Dams was probably Tundi or Shadow. I don't know, I can't remember. But I spent 2 years here with Mishun and Duna, and they became very, very special cats in my life. Karula too, I still have a Safari TV shirt in 2010 when we went 3D, and we had those Safari TV shirts with the leopard on them, and I still have, there's a shirt that is torn at the bottom, and it's got a couple of holes in from Mishu grabbing it off of the lion. There's a fantastic moment when I was watching Mishu. I actually found him and I drove up to him, and he snarled at me and he bared his teeth, and I hadn't any idea that I'd actually been parking on top of his kill. So there have been a lot of leopards that I've known, and I think, I don't know if there's really one favorite, but there's one leopard that has impressed me more than any others, and I think it might have something to do with the fact that I live in a place, my home is called Manzi Mvula, and that means water from the rain. Manzi is water, Mvula is rain, and one of the leopards that we have here right now, who's the father of our current cubs, is a leopard by the name of Mvula. He's a fantastic cat. I think he reminds me of a cat that I used to know over 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, in the central part of the Sabi Sand. His name was Mbombi. He was an 11-year-old Tom that had been caught in a snare and been through hell. But despite his history with us humans, he became this wonderful cat that was able to just have such presence that the vehicles would never chance doing anything with him, and so we used to follow him. And there's an incredible moment when I was with Mvula just recently, when I found him on Buffelshoek Cutline, and we followed him, and there's this beautiful shot of him walking down Buffelshoek Cutline, and he hasn't got a care in the world. He's like a leopard in charge of the world, forgetting that there are a lion and hyena that exist. He seems to exude this confidence. And we've got that clip I'd like to show you too. Well, I'm just going to fix the fire quickly. gets the flames going again. I mean, there was a moment when we had him almost at Inga's Kaya, and he was amongst all those red stars in his. I didn't want to really talk over that because that was probably one of the most amazing moments that I've had with Mvula, and he is a very, very special cat. Now I think I'm going to miss him as much as I'm going to miss Karula and her future, whether she's going to have cubs again. I have no doubt that I'll be back again, and I have no doubt that in the future there will be times when I will be able to come and maybe see him again. But he has proven to me to be one of the most formidable leopards that I've ever come across. There is also Tingana, and although I haven't really had much time with him, I believe Brent found him this evening. He's kind of he's on the lip there of being a really good cat to talk to. Let me introduce to you Mr. Fox, the boss. Hello, Will.
How you doing, mate?
Good, and you, Will?
Well, we couldn't let
Welcome.
the occasion go by, Mark, without a present.
Oh no,
It's got
really?
plastic on. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's good.
There you are.
It'll keep.
I don't know what you're going to do.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a photograph that Scott took, and it's one that Graham picked out. So there's been a lot of people involved in, and even Carol went and got it printed for you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
There you are. Yeah.
That is such a wonderful surprise.
Yeah. Sorry about the plastic on it, but
but the plastic. Well, you know what my Land Rover looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so my Landy's got to take this home, and I'm going to leave the plastic on. In fact, I'm going to put even more on it.
Yeah.
For the ride.
Well, folks, I thought it was only right that I'm usually behind the scenes and probably in Marc's ear as normal in the director's chair, but I wanted to come and say, on behalf of us all at Wild Earth, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of the whole Wild Earth family out there, what a sad day this, but it's also a nice day to celebrate everything that Marc's done in the past. And we're very proud to have been privileged to have had Marc working for us. And as he said earlier on, the door's never shut at Wild Earth, and it'll be open in the future for Marc. He's got things he wants to do, as we know. But we're very much hoping that sometime in the future he'll come back as a guest presenter and keep some of our guys right.
I'd love that. I'd really love
coming along. But when I look back and I was thinking about the past that we've been through since 2009 when I first came along and met you and all the rest of it, and I was thinking about the highlights for me of being with you, and a lot of them have undoubtedly been learning from you in the bush and seeing all the little things you like. But as well as that, I just remember things like the voiceover. And guys, years ago when we were doing the 3D, we used to do post-produced shows and the voiceover, and I could always rely on Marc just to nail it.
That little room with the 4 mattresses.
4 mattresses stuffed in there. But that was those days, and Wild Earth's come along since then a long way. But I remember one particular one, and I remember you just looking at it, and it's an elephant, your favourite, came out of the water with some mud and the sun on it, and you just nailed it. You just said it looks like a bronze statue coming out of the water. And I
remember that.
This man's got it in a smooth voice that we've all loved over the years. It's been fantastic. Yeah. And as well as the big and the furries, as I call them and lots of other people do, it's been the little ones, the little things. Remember the Remarkable show? And there's these little creatures that I think are the best thing that I've learnt from Marc. I think we've got a clip. It's a little montage of lots of those little insects and bits and bobs that Marc finds along the way that makes a show so interesting, especially in days when we can't find big animals and those days happen. But what wonderful thing to be able to introduce everyone to the wonders of the things that you find in the bush. So if we can run that little clip and we can just look at some of those things that Marc has found along the way. which is a great thing. Anyway, as usual, Mark, and as you know, I'm speaking too much. So
No, not at all, Will. Thanks for such great words. This is a really great surprise, getting going to find a place at home for this when I fix the walls and the roof, that it's not going to fall down. But it's really great.
And I think, it is those little things that I've enjoyed the most, and those are the things that I've taken into my just walking in the bush, the things you've taught me, which has been fantastic, because we're always learning. And I've come to the African bush a lot later than you.
Yeah.
So it's been great to learn. Little two on the dashboard, and you look at it there, and they're fantastic.
You don't know how much they smelt, because I've been keeping them for days and wanting to show you, the viewers. And this is part of it, is that because we can't get the camera off of the vehicle, it is just so amazing to try and bring something that we don't get to see, that are at our feet. And I think one of the reasons why I am so enamored with insect life is not only because they were my toys as kids and I loved them as kids, but also because there's always got to be time, and you can fill up the time between the lions and the leopards and the elephants and the big and furries. What do you call them?
Big and the furries.
The big and the furries, or the hairies and the clawries. And I can never get it right, but Will's got a way of saying it. I think it's that Yorkshire accent.
It's the Yorkshire accent. But I've one thing I've got to tell you, Mark, and I just heard you earlier on when you was talking about your parents, and I know we flew you down to see your mum for Mother's Day, and we were very pleased to be able to do that.
Oh, it was wonderful.
One of the things I saw on Facebook was how many people liked one of the photographs of you and Mum and Dad, doing the thing. And when Graham and Emily and Peter and I were thinking about what else we could do for you, well, we thought, wouldn't it be nice, now you can have some time off to yourself, to fly you back down to see Mum and Dad again. So on behalf of Wild Earth, we'd like to do that when you're ready. We'll get you back down to George, see Mum and Dad. And I know from my own experience, being in Africa, in Father sadly no longer with us, but I never got home often enough to see them. And you're in the same country, so it's great to go down and see them. We're really pleased to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's everybody here wanted.
And I think next time I'll spend more than just a week.
Yeah, so you should. Yeah, it's great, and it's quality time you can have with folks.
It's what I need, but also it's not only my mum and dad, it's my sister and my nieces.
Yeah, it's family.
So they're down there as well, and it's family, and I have missed out on a lot of that.
But you have had the Wild Earth family.
I have, and this is where perhaps it becomes a little bit emotional, because there is the Wild Earth family. There's Graham and Emily, and it's not only Graham and Emily, it's the two girls too, because my very first interview back in 2008 was just after Emily got back from England, having given birth to Mia, and I remember sitting in the lounge at their house in Johannesburg, and all I could look at was a gecko on the wall with Emily jumping up and down to the baby, because she was only a couple of weeks old. And I was thinking, am I really going to get this job because I'm looking at a gecko and Emily's jumping up to go to the baby? But it was great, because I came back to the bush after being away for quite some time. I had been in Tanzania, and after Tanzania, I'd given up Tanzania, trying to get down to the Cape, and I'd been running a lovely little nature reserve down in the Cape to try and be close to my parents, to try and be close to family. And whilst I did see them every now and then, it wasn't as frequent as I had wished, and because I was still quite a few hundred miles away. But it was just an amazing thing that while I was there, my contract was coming to an end, and there was an ad for a wildlife presenter, and I thought, yeah, I can do that. And I answered the ad, and in a flash, I changed from being in the Cape to being here, and coming for that interview that you saw in the beginning with that really shocking SD footage of Pete Broad introducing me. I think we got to get Pete Broad back on the vehicle one of these days.
I'm sure he'd love
to do a birding drive or something. But it's been a wonderful. I won't say it's been a wonderful ride. It's been a wonderful experience for me to be part of a family that is Wild Earth, and I'm not going to be going away. I'm leaving things for now, but I will not cut my ties, and I will hopefully be back. As Will says, there are going to be times when maybe there's going to be time for me to come in and help out when maybe Scott or Brent or somebody goes on leave, or hopefully
Well, I think it's like any other family, isn't it? You know, if a member of the family goes away somewhere, you know that you know you'll see them one day. You don't know when, but you'll see them again. You know. And the one thing I very much like about this Wild Earth family is it's not just us guys here in the bush, and Graham and Emily and Peter and even a few others around the world. And let's not forget Colleen and Valerie. I didn't mention all the names.
Colleen, Valerie, Karen and Sharon in Austria. I could actually go on.
There's lots of them.
I was thinking of where do I stop the list, because there are so many of you out there that have been the extended family of Wild Earth, that have embraced me and have been part of my life, and are still going to be and still are part of my life. And I'm sure we're going to be in touch. I'm going to be in the Timbavati. I'm hoping that at some point I'm going to be able to send you a few pictures of what's going on in the Timbavati.
Absolutely.
And who knows what can happen in the future. But as you say, well, it's not only the management and the directorship and the people, the past people of Wild Earth, but it is our extended family, all of you out there.
Wonderful.
Heather in Alaska. Oh gosh, I wish, it's like I feel like I'm at an Oscars.
But the thing is, Mark, isn't it? We've got a Wild Earth family that extends beyond the business side into quite clearly into our viewership, and they're our family as well, and it's great all here to share this with you tonight. And I know I'm hearing lots of folks are telling us how much they've enjoyed you being with us and your passion for everything, and that's a fantastic thing to have that following as well. Remember that photograph on Twitter had 600 and something followers, likes. I've never had that many in my life, but I mean, that's fantastic that people are following that way. And the same with all our other viewers, all our other presenters as well. Yeah.
Well, it is, and it's the old crew. It's Herman and Tara and Seb and now Shannon and their kid that are back down there in the Cape. And gosh, I don't know. There's just so many people to think of. Barbara, thank you, Barbara. Barbara just sending in a message. I think on Twitter, saying that because of my passion on Twitter, she has become very passionate about elephants. Well, did I say passionate about Twitter?
No, you're okay. Don't worry about it.
Not thinking straight. I'm trying to fit in a lot of stuff for this particular evening. I'm going to be on drive tomorrow morning. I'm going to be on drive tomorrow afternoon, and then I need to be heading back home. But I will hopefully be on occasionally on social media when I can. But Barbara, thanks for sending the message. I was supposed to tell you to send in questions, but we've got such a short time to squeeze everything in. It's amazing how fast time can just speed by. I was wondering how I was going to fill half an hour, but it seems we've done so already.
Oh, I could do it, Mark. I talk for a living. But it's usually in your ear, though.
Well, thank you. And, well, Graham and Emily and Pete Bart and Alex, and of course our current crew, Brian and Viam, for being, and Jason, who's not here right now. Scotty D, you've been great, and I'm really pleased that I can sort of hand over a baton to you and take things onwards. I'm at a loss in a sense, because that is a very emotional evening, and I've been trying not to get too emotional. I'm not getting into the whys and wherefores, but it is time for me to venture into the universe and find a new direction. But I'm not going to be gone. I'm not going to be away forever. And as Will says, I'm hoping that I'll be back. I'll come in for some presenting from time to time, and I will hopefully see you again. Those of you who I'm in contact with on social network, I hope that can remain. But as you know, back home in the Timbavati, I don't have great access to things. I'm hoping to correct that, because there is new satellite technology now, and I'm hoping to do something about that. So we'll be in. I'll be there. I'm not going far. I'm going back to my elephants in the Timbavati, and I need to regroup, and I need to reevaluate. So from me, thanks for joining us for Fireside Chat tonight. Well, thanks for joining me too.
No, thank you, mate. And very good luck. We're all behind you, 100%.
Thanks.
Good
luck
luck for
to Carol
future.
too, by the way.
Well, thank you. I'm sure she's watching.
And well, I'll see you tomorrow on Drive, folks, and we can maybe get some questions on Drive. And I don't know where I'm going from here, so don't even worry about that as a question. I just know where I've been, and I've been in a very fantastic place. I've been in a place that has been very comfortable for me over the past few years. I love Wild Earth. I will never be separated from it. I will always be on the fringes. Good night, goodbye.
Bye, folks.
And I love you lot.